I believe that Great Mother Prance guided Bravelands from beyond the stars after she gave her life, when the mountain erupted and the red rivers ran. Whether she was a spirit, a shadow, or something else, who can say? Mango's jaw dropped.
You mean the mountain really did explode? I thought that was just a story too. Where did you think the Black Rock Valleys came from? Sniffed Sprint. Not all the way from the mountain,
Mango snapped back. As I said, Starlight reminded them, lowering her trunk to gently rest on each of their heads. The truth may always lie somewhere we can't quite see. It's certainly an interesting tale, and we know it begins with the Great Mother losing her shadow, but failing to die, and becoming Prance Herdless. She paused, stretching her neck to loosen its stiffness, and also to buy herself a little time, while she remembered what happened next. Where did the leopards come into it, in the end? And who was the first to fall to the sand-tongue curse? She sighed, knowing that even her version of the story was likely to deviate from the truth. Time had passed, and the events of history could never be pinned to the earth forever. They could only travel on the wind, and they would inevitably change as they did so. The Great Father before her was Great Father Thorn, a baboon. Starlight began, and the baboons all nodded in gleeful anticipation. But before she could go on, she felt something strange. Her ears quivered, and she raised her head, seeing that a few of the other creatures around the watering hole were doing the same, on edge and alert. The ground beneath Starlight's feet began to tremble, and a moment later, she heard the rattling, groaning noise, and she knew what was coming.
Is it the mountain again?
Mango gasped, turning and shading his eyes as he squinted in the direction of where he thought the mountain might lie. No, said Starlight with a smile. This is no terrible earthquake. Listen. Her ears flapped again, and Mango bit his lip as he concentrated for a moment.
Oh, it's hooves, he said.
It's the buffalo, Starlight said. The herd are passing by, somewhere close. Every female and calf are on the move, going to meet the males and gather for their great migration.
Are there a lot of them, then?
Asked Twig Middleleaf, who seemed younger than the others. A very, very great many, said Starlight with a knowing smile. When they are all gathered together, they will truly make the earth shake. In fact, the buffalo believe that it's the shaking of the earth, with all their hooves moving as one, that brings the rains down from the sky.
Wait, said Sprint. So if the buffalo don't make their journey, the rains won't come? What about the grass? What about the watering hole? If there are no rains...
Such a thing has never happened as far as I know, said Starlight, and I believe it never will. I do not know what would happen if the buffalo failed to migrate. I only know that they believe it. That's why the Great Spirit is so important. It ties us all together, even though we all sometimes have very different ideas.
Look,
said Pebble, pointing over Twig's head.
I can see them now.
I can't, said Twig, squinting. I can just see a big cloud of smoke. That is the dust being thrown up by their hooves, said Starlight. There are so many of them that when they're all moving at once on a dry day, you'll barely see hide or horn until they're almost upon you.
Wow,
said Twig, his eyes widening. Starlight looked up to watch the dust cloud rolling across the plain. She thought back with fondness to the many migrations she had witnessed in her time as Great Mother. The herds of buffalo crossing the plains, united in their journey, one great family with one aim, to go and to return. But as she gazed at the passing herd,